What's up, Cobra Kai fans? Welcome back to Cobra Kai Nation. How have you guys been? I'm really sorry for the delay today. Very freaking sorry. I've been out all day. I was supposed to go live at 7. I was hoping that I'd be back by then, but I've literally had the craziest, most cool day today. You probably just need to go and check my Instagram story to see what that was, because I can't really talk about it, but it was amazing. And I had to pull up my green screen up as well, because I normally have it for the streams. And I'm also just going to turn off one of my lights, because I just feel like the glare on this kind of annoys me. So let me just sort this out, mofos. Oh, what a fun day. Hello. What's going on, guys? How's everyone doing? Hello. W, what's going on, people? What is going on? So we've got quite a few things I wanted to discuss on Cobra Kai season 6, because there's been actually so many different things that Tanner Buchanan has been saying about Cobra Kai season 6, because of course he's been doing press on How to Date Biddy Walsh, his recently released Prime Video film, which you should go check it out. It's a really funny rom-com. Like, I was surprised at how funny it was, because I was kind of expecting it to be too cheesy and just over the top to a point where I wouldn't even like it. But honestly, I had a lot of fun with this movie. Sebastian Croft is hilarious in it. And like, overall, it's just a solid movie. I just didn't think it'd be that funny. I thought it was going to be full on cringe at one point. But yeah, I'm very glad I saw the movie, and I think you guys should check it out, because you will be surprised. But yeah, what a great film, and the writing on it was good. So definitely a W there. I hope you all had a great weekend. I've had a very good Saturday. Of course, hope you guys all had a great Saturday too. And I'm not going to be on it for too long, because I want to address more of this stuff in, like, my videos, because I've been doing quite a lot on that. And I will get up Tanner Buchanan speaking about Cobra Kai season 6 on one of the podcasts that was done by a specific presenter that actually tagged me in his interview with Tanner, which is cool. I think what's interesting is he did this interview with Tom DiDario. He actually tagged me on Instagram, which is an interview that Tanner did on the iHeart podcast, and Tommy DiDario spoke to Tanner about the new season, and again, it was press for his um his film How to Date Billy Walsh, and basically a bunch of news outlets have been talking about it today, about what he's been saying. This is actually like early hours of this morning, or like pretty much after midnight, and it's quite interesting what he said. So I'm just trying to get the specific quote on what Tanner said, but basically, um, it's gonna be like a crazy, crazy season. Um, I think he said a lot about, again, conclusion to the story, and I think that's definitely a very big one that we all want to know. How are they going to conclude Cobra Kai? Because that is the big question, of course. I do feel like I've been thinking about all the different possibilities and how they could end it. I've thought of so many different theories, and I'm not stuck on one quite yet. And I think that's the thing. Like, I don't honestly can be fully sure of if we're gonna get like what I'm thinking, or are we gonna get something completely the opposite, a U-turn. I was thinking this crazy ending for Daniel in season 6 that it's something I haven't actually heard much of the fandom talk about or address. So I think that's quite an interesting one. So yeah, I think it's definitely like it's just one of those things. We're gonna have to find out, but also it's just hard to say because it has to be done so right. That's the thing. Okay, so the article I just pulled up is from the Daily Mail, and it's just basically what Tanner said during his interview on the iHeartRadio podcast with um Tom DiDario. So basically, from Tanner's the transcript, it says that he said, "I know we say every year, oh, this season's gonna be bigger and badder than every season. This season truly is gonna be the biggest season. There's so much to take in. It's gonna be a lot. It's going to be a crazy wild ride. And I think it's gonna make everybody really, really happy." And then he was like joking about how they've also like had to get heating pads, Epsom salt baths, and icing things and Advil because of the hard work they've done this season. I won't be surprised if they would had that type of recovery for this season because I'm sure the stunt team have come up with some great fights. They're pushing the students, the actors to their best. I think they are arguably the actors, like the younger actors, are arguably in their peak in terms of martial arts because they've done it for so many seasons now. And I think it's just so much that we can expect. So yeah, it's kind of adding to what I was talking about the other day from what Tanner said in another interview. I really wish I spoke to Tanner now. I just really would have loved to have been doing those interviews for the press because for season sorry, for How to They Billy Walsh, because I wanted to talk about the film, but really wanted to speak to Tanner about this last season. Um, yeah, it's funny you mentioned this, Cameron, because I was just reading that now. Like, look at that. Ralph 62, William's 58. William doesn't look 58 though. I will say that. He looks like he is in his 50s, maybe you could say his 40s, but he doesn't look like an old man, you know. He still looks really good for his age. And I think we'll get out of this for now and just focus on your questions. Um, where is Double A? What's going on, man? Tanner's movie wasn't very good. Honestly, I think this is the thing. Like his film wasn't bad. I don't honestly think it was bad. Because I was expecting it not to be the greatest film, and honestly, I was surprised at how much I found it funny. Because again, that kind of humor normally in rom coms, it's just too cheesy and it's not funny. But they actually writ this well. I thought Sebastian Croft was cracking me up throughout a lot of the film. There's definitely a lot of cheesy stuff, and it's got the classic cliche like rom com, but I still found some really good things about it, which is very surprising. I will say that this film is so much better than He's All That, like way better. The thing is, the difference with this film and He's All That is, I feel like He's All That had more focus on Tanner because he was carrying the goddamn film, whereas How to Date Billy Walsh, Tanner wasn't. Even though his character in the film is in the title of the movie, he's not actually like the main character. It's the other two guys, Archie and Emily or Amelia, I think her name is. So like and Tanner was just himself. He was just like really enjoying that. But I think like it was quite interesting in that sense. Like he didn't really have to do much in that movie. Whereas with He's All That, he was basically like the star, like the main dude. But yeah. Do you think they are gonna do a time skip at the end? I honestly I wouldn't be surprised if we do get a little time skip. Like we could see the conclusion of the series, and like how they end it, and then maybe what they do is we basically see this. This would actually be quite interesting if like we see the wedding for Johnny and Carmen. They end the series, maybe a few weeks later, um, or a few days later, they do like a scene with Johnny and Daniel bowing at Miyagi Do. I mean, Johnny and Daniel bowing to Mr. Miyagi's grave. I actually had a pretty crazy theory on what else they could do with that scene. Um, but like that's definitely one of the possibilities next season is we get a time skip. If it's at the end, it's got to not be too much unless they're showing like them as really old men, but you know, they would have to be if they do that, then it kind of makes the whole how does it affect the spin-off? I mean, not the spin-off, like the future of Cobra Kai if they ever come back to it for a season 7 or if they do Cobra Kai films instead, like a trilogy. But yeah. Um oh, what's going on, Evan? How you doing, bro? It's gonna be a badass. What's your thoughts on you mean Stranger Things 5? I think it's gonna be an interesting one. I don't know what the future is gonna hold for this final season with all the characters. But if the Duffers don't kill anyone off in Stranger Things, I'd be surprised because it's like the stakes feel so high. I mean, Cobra Kai might not kill anyone, but I feel like if out of both shows. I feel like Stranger Things needs to do it more than Cobra Kai does in a way. Because like Stranger Things has got so much crazier stuff going on with like all these different beasts and all that, and I'm like, it's just kind of crazy. A lot of the characters. I mean, they have killed off characters. Don't get me wrong, but like, you know what I mean. Um, yeah. Also, I think yeah, the new season's out this year. It's coming out, I believe, in sometime in later this year. So we'll see. We'll see how they go about that. Uh, do, 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 do. Sorry, give me a second. Yeah, I think we're getting something very soon on confirming when the release dates are. So, uh, we're due a teaser. If I'm honest, like it's been 2 months now since they dropped something official. Blue Beetle's actor looks like Shazamoon. I've never had that nickname before, but I love it. It's actually quite cool. Thank you, Sebastian, and I appreciate the compliment. um, that final battle is gonna be something else, man. It's gonna be something else. Um, do you think Mike Barnes will have more screen time in season 6? Honestly, I think he's gonna get I think he'll get more screen time in season 6 than he did in season 5. Like, I'm sure he'll be in the new season as well because it's the last season. And also, Mike is a character that could easily fit in very well with the final season, especially with the tournament stuff. That's gonna be great to see that. That man Hector does anything like that, oh, that's gonna be something. That's gonna be crazy. I see again. What are your thoughts on the first 2 episodes of season 6? What's up, Tyrell? I honestly don't know. I mean, I feel like we'll get some interesting scenes with this new Miyagi-Do karate dynamic, and also what's going on with Cobra Kai. What's the aftermath of that? I feel like we'll probably see the scenes with the Miyagi-Dos, Miyagi Fang training first, and perhaps like Johnny, Daniel, and Chosen just mentoring them and training them, and then we maybe get the conclusion to like what happened right at the end of season 5 with Silver. They could even start the episode like right as season 5 ended, and then maybe like 5 or 10 minutes in, there's like a time jump. So interesting ways they could go about it. But the second episode, I feel like they're already getting to like what is going to happen now with what's been going on, especially there's a time jump. Sebastian, it's actually funny you mentioned that. I don't know if someone said this on the last stream or I was saying this to a friend, but I actually think if Gianni DeCenzo and Finn Wolfhard switched, like if they switched careers, I'm not being funny, but like Finn Wolfhard would have made a pretty good Dimitri, I feel. But Gianni is the GOAT. He is the guy that plays Dimitri, and he's amazing at it. But just thinking, like they look very similar. Could you imagine like if Finn Wolfhard was in Cobra Kai? That'd actually be quite funny. But he's Stranger Things guy, so he's already in that. going on, Hassan? How you doing, man? Um, People think Karate Kid 2010. People like Dre Chang and Miss Hammer aren't in different universes. Yes, you're correct. They are in a different universe. We are still yet to find out if this is set in the same universe as the Miyagi verse. You know, the creators have said they're not involved. The creators of Cobra Kai, that is. Sony Pictures have not released a teaser yet, and they've just started filming like last week. So we still have a lot of time until they drop that first trailer, first teaser. Well, I think the first teaser personally will be in June or early July, but June makes sense because it's the literal month of the anniversary of the Karate Kid, which will be 40 years since the original film came out, which is crazy. And I think we'll also get more in Cobra Kai season 6 by then as well for it. And I feel like the Cobra Kai's final season and this upcoming Karate Kid movie, they're gonna get a lot of marketing in the next few months because it's literally like getting closer to the anniversary of the Karate Kid. So it makes sense. But yeah, the 2010 film, I don't know why there's people out there that still believe that it's like a what do you say? Like it's not a it's definitely like a canon thing. Just because Jackie and Ralph are in a film together doesn't mean it's gonna be like canon completely. And the thing is, we also got to remember that I always bring this up in videos. Catherine Pope, the Sony Pictures TV president, said that not necessarily like the stuff in the Karate Kid projects they got, not all of them are necessarily canon to each other. So she's probably trying to say that the Miyagi verse, Cobra Kai season 6 with the Cobra Kai series and the original films are part of one thing. The 2010 film is its own universe, and this new 2024 Karate Kid film could be its own universe. We just have to preface that, or I have to preface this. It could be its own thing. And sorry guys, I can see so many different questions. Just letting you know, if you have a question and I end up missing it, if you've super chatted or donated or whatever, of course I'm gonna prioritize questions like that. Um, but yeah, I just want to say I saw some people like leaving thanks on my one of my videos, and it was really nice of that person to do that. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate the love on the last stream that we did because it was really cool to see how you guys I was so engaged with it, and I really love doing streams. Like I do miss them a lot, and I think that's also a reason why I've been trying to do them more often lately. And yeah, I'm gonna see. I think there was something else that was being said about Cobra Kai season 6. I mean, I'm just trying to see, like, you know, which is interesting. Apparently, Jon Hurwitz said something about Jon Hurwitz did a well, actually, okay, this is not why do some people say new news and it's literally an article from ages ago? It's just kind of annoying when they do that. Um, when was this interview then? Um, yeah, that's just confusing me now. Well, is that thing that John Hurwitz said about you never know with the character of his means and determination, but we love Thomas Ian Griffith. It's been amazing working with him the last couple of years. We'll see if we get to work with him more. I'm pretty sure they said that a while ago because I don't remember seeing that pop up recently. Um, that's kind of confusing. Uh, it's just everything on what Tanner's been saying. Um, I think Tanner was just the only one that said stuff lately. I like the way Tanner said it's a crazy wild ride though. That's very exciting. I cannot wait. I mean, I don't expect anything less. I just want to say there is so many amazing Cobra Kai TikTok editors, like so much talent. The editing is next level. The love on there for the show is truly remarkable. And I've seen a few creators like make edits of me, which is so I'm honored that you would even think of me to do that. And I love it. Like shout out to Grace, only Grace on TikTok. She's really cool. She does some really cool edits. Cobra Kai student is another great one. I know some others that are on there that are really good. Like there's just so many. It's hard to name a lot because there's so many different names and different like edits I've seen, and I don't know if the one I've seen might have been made by someone I already know, and like there's so many, and I've seen them on shorts on YouTube, on I've seen it on Instagram, I've seen it on TikTok, of course. Like I said, there's so many, and I just a lot of love for the show on there. So yeah, I really think it's cool what the fans over there are doing with these edits, and wow, they're just so amazing. Um, oh my god, I don't. Tanner just seems too like he's very mature, but I just doubt he would do something so like silly, if that makes sense. Like I just don't think it would be in Tanner's like thing. Do you hear about the Instagram stories I posted Australia Mary last weekend where they revealed some of the younger cast members maybe Kingdom students? Well, I remember I posted that video during one of my videos when I was talking about Tanner in one of his interviews about Cobra Kai season 6, and I did notice in that video there were some cast members we've never seen before, and I think it kind of did give it away that they are going to be part of Kim Daeun's dojo. Or there could be like other competition. I mean, there was quite a few people in that story, that were watching Tanner's new film, and I mean, you had even Ralph there with his wife, I believe. It's really cool, and like Peyton, Jacob, Gianni, Mary, Sholo, the whole crew were there. Um, and then like, yeah, there was a few actors that we'd never seen, and I believe they could be in, Kim Daeun's dojo. I think it's a most likely they are, and I believe they are. So I think it makes sense because they also look Korean, and we've never seen them before. And plus, we are supposedly getting some of her students, and I assume we would. So it's one of those things. What's up, Black Panther edits? How you doing, man? Cool, I feel like Devin is going to get big moments season 6. You're talking about being a champion all of season 5, and she got way more screen time over the 2 seasons. See, I would think it would be very crazy if she does anything like that in Sekai Takai. I kind of refuse to believe it because look at the other younger characters that are clearly superior to her. Like, if she's going to do that, why hasn't Sam been given that, or even Tori? I think we might get a little time jump in the end of the show where they might show us like a montage of like Devon, Kenny, and Anthony in an All Valley, and then it like maybe skips to like Johnny and Miyagi at the grave. There's so many different ideas they could do. I wouldn't mind seeing an All Valley happen, but they don't need to like go and do loads about it. It could just be for the younger students, you know, and just like, oh look where they're coming now after the Sekai Tucker. Like they're going back to this All Valley with ease. Um, because if Devon, Kenny, and Anthony are in the Sekai Tucker, there's got to be a younger division for them. Because I refuse to believe they would be in the same division as um those younger teens that have been more experienced at karate for longer. And also, like, I think with like characters like Kenny, I can see that being a very interesting addition to the Sekai Tekai. But they buffed him in season 5, and I feel with Anthony, they're gonna have to do the same next season. I feel like Kreese is getting a buff next season. If Devon gets a moment like that, she will have some great shine. And she's very similar to Tori, so I can see them like giving like Devon a good moment. But this show has some big conclusions for a lot of the main cast. So it's gonna be a heavy ride, man. Yeah, those are the exact ones because I saw them on their Instagram. Daniel J. Kim, actually, I believe he followed me on Instagram as well. And actually, I believe Brandon, is it Brandon who? No, it's Brandon Lee. Brandon H. Lee, my bad. Yeah. He was in Shang-Chi, which is pretty badass. He definitely looks like a badass. I've seen some of his like stunt reels, and dude, he is gonna look sick in the tournament. I mean, all three of them, Reina as well. Um, they're gonna be badass, dude. I can honestly see them doing some crazy damage to some of the other guys. Like that would be insane. Um, what's up, DJ? What do you think the final fight series could be? I mean, other than the tournament, I can see that Hector and Miguel, maybe Kreese and Silva, or perhaps a big brawl with the youngsters, like all the Miyagi Fang with Johnny, Daniel, Chosen fighting the others. Like Kim's dojo, Kreese, Silva is like there, but he's there to fight Kreese. That would be pretty crazy. Aisha coming back. What's up, Serena? I actually think that wouldn't be a bad shout. I would like to see her in the final season. Actually, someone asked me this the other day. I actually wouldn't mind seeing her in the final season because I feel like she's a pretty cool character to have like as part of like this finalizing of the show. I mean, it'd be interesting if she's there to support like Sam and like Miguel and Dimitri and the other guys in the Sekai Sekai. Like that would be cool if she was like just a guest star even in that. I would like that. So I wouldn't mind that at all. I honestly think that we'll see a lot of character returns. Like I would not be surprised. Um it's definitely like gonna be a interesting season for like which character turns they bring because there's also characters we haven't seen yet. I'm sure Dennis, maybe Snake, Freddy Fernandez. I don't know. Maybe they will. Aisha, like characters that have already been in Cobra Kai that can return as well. Like, Kumiko, Jessica. I expect all of them to return. I think it's just gonna be interesting how they write it. But I do feel like the Sakai Tokai could bring them together. Other than that, the Johnny and um, other than Johnny and Carmen's wedding. I actually have been thinking like there is actually a good theory on how they bring some of the characters, and I think like Chosen's going to be at that wedding for sure, especially because of his connection with Johnny Daniel now, and he's good friends with Johnny now. So like, I can imagine that Chosen wants to bring somebody, and I can imagine like he brings Kumiko, and that might be a way of her bringing. Maybe that's a way of bringing her back to the show, because like I'm just trying to think like other than Seka Seka, how do they bring her in and everything? Um, so yeah, it's just one of those things, I guess. Nesta, he's funny. It would be funny if we saw him in the final season, but it depends. I just saw what Sebastian said about Reina. Honestly, I can totally see that about Reina, like especially because like she's a full-on badass. I can see her having maybe some dialogue and having a very mean fight with some of the students. Like, oh, I could definitely see that. Like I'm talking about Sam and Tori. Now that would be something else. Like I can imagine that being pretty crazy. And another reason how you can see she's in it, she's following Ken Bearfield, the stunt coordinator, Jon Hurwitz, Uno O'Brien, Dallas Young, and so many other people I know that are involved in the show. Tanner, Mary, and she was literally there. Like she's got to be in the Sekai Sekai. Like Rain is a badass. Like that's a pretty cool video of her. That's just like showing a little bit of her what she can do. But I'm telling you now, man, Sensei Kim students, they're not messing around with who they're bringing in for that. And again, they might be so ruthless they barely speak. I can't imagine them just having a line which is like uh can you imagine like they're just speaking in their language, but the only time they speak English is when they like talk to Miguel, Robbie, Salvatore in the tournament, and then they still speak in their language. That intimidation is going to be crazy. I really want to see them being like full on villains. Like that would be scary. But honestly, man, I can't wait to see this. It's gonna be badass. Also, I am just thinking the what's that other I mean the guy from the beach, I don't know his name, the actor that's gonna be in that scene. He's gotta be part of the dojo as well. But we still don't know who the hell he is, to be honest. But we shall see. We shall see. Um, I think the OG Cobras are definitely going to return. Like, I think Tommy, sorry, no, not Tommy. Rest in peace, Rob Garrison, because obviously Tommy died off in he passed away in season 2. and they killed off his character. And I think Jimmy, Bobby, and Johnny will have a reunion, but they've got to bring in Dutch. Like, I made a video on it if you want to check it out, but I definitely think not she, what am I saying? He will be in the final season. I can definitely feel like I can see them bringing him back, and I feel like they probably have gotten back. You know, if they bring back, you know, someone like Snake or Dennis, then I think it's more than possible and more than likely that they've got Dutch back too. So we'll see. Um, see, I don't know how much of those kind of younger characters are going to be involved next season. Like, you know, Leah, we haven't seen her since season 4, and she wasn't the younger characters in that sense were only there for season. They went in season 5, like Leah and, you know, LaRusso's friends, but like season 5, we only saw, you know, Kenny with the Cobras like messing with Anthony. We didn't really see how it went down in school though, like how it's affecting Anthony on a day to day since then. But yeah, I don't think it's just one of those things. Also, I think we are. Yeah, I mean, you've got a good point. Like, I can definitely see her being like a stunt character in the show. Like, you know, she's probably got maybe 1 or 2 lines. It'll be interesting to see. But I can't wait. I feel like we need to see some female students in that tournament that like literally make Sam and Tori's beef seem like so much like it's not even important at all. Or like I mean their prior beef when they were fighting each other. Like I want these female fighters in that Tekai Takai to show that even when Sam and Tori were at their like craziest fighting in that school fight and all that, like these guys in the tournament are so ruthless that it's like worse than what they would have done to each other in their own fight. Like I want that level of aggression from these students, especially the Sensei Kim students, because they're going to be showing absolutely no mercy. So Dutch to meet Chosen. Now that would be interesting. You should pre-write season 6. I mean, I remember I was thinking of this idea of like I'm sure someone had already done it after though, but like I wanted to do like it was more during the strikes. I wanted to use AI to see what it would do for season 6. Um, you know, maybe if you guys want me to do that just for fun, I mean we could do that for stream, but there's actually quite a few cool ideas I got coming up that I want to do for streams. And I think it'll be cool if we can figure that in that way. But yeah, let me know guys in the comments. Do you want me to pre-write season 6 as in like using like AI or whatever and just sort of or like maybe the first episode what you genuinely think could be the case like based on my predictions. Um I might do a whole video as well right now on all my predictions for season 6. I feel like because I've got so many I talk about them on lives and stuff, but yeah, I feel like definitely makes sense. Um, see, she does look. To be fair, she might look younger, but she could be a rival to Tori or Sam. I mean, Devin as well. Probably all 3, if I'm honest. I mean, I'm saying like I know what you're saying, Cameron, but I mean, I want to see them more brutal. Like, other than Tori using a weapon, think about the brutality. Like, I feel like they could be more brutal. And they might not do this in the fight in the tournament, but outside the tournament, imagine if they have a fight with the girls. Like, what if some of them try to fight Sam and Tori and Devin? Like, that would be deadly. Like, what if they have to really protect each other from these guys? Like, that would be nuts. I just feel like Sensei Kim's students are going to do some really like shady stuff outside of the tournament to distract the Miyagi-Dos, and prevent them obviously from winning. Like I can see them doing some crazy stuff. Also, I think the stuff with Terry Silver, I feel like he's gonna get away with it, if I'm honest. It's the final season. I don't think they want to blabber too much in it. I think what they'll do is we'll see him like later on in the season, maybe like halfway. I think they might do what they did with Kreese in season 5. I think Silver will get the same treatment. So we didn't see Kreese until like, the end of episode 5 in season 5. And season 6, he had that, sorry, episode 6 in season 5, he had that episode that had so much of Kreese. The prison fight, the way he was feeling in prison, showing if he had been redeemed or not. But I think the full redemption, I've told you guys, is still coming next season. And I think that Terry's gonna appear, or Terry Silver, we have to call him Terry Silver because he's a legendary character, will be back at least after or before episode 5. I think episode 5 is when we'll see Silver, or at least the end of episode 5, and then season 6, episode 6 is when we see Mr. Terry Silver himself again, and where he's been, how he's been dealing with everything. What happened to Cheyenne? Because I kind of am curious what happened with her. There might be better fights than Miguel Robbie and Sakataka. I want that because I want the guys to feel like underdogs in this tournament. I want that the Karate Kid spirit. I want them to acknowledge that they are great at what they do, but they're against the top dogs now. It's not the All Valley, but they could just literally they do their thing in the All Valley and they come against each other, but now they're all working together. So this is like no longer about the rivalries. Rivalries die slow deaths in Japan. And what Chosen said. Interesting quote. So they can be worse than Hawk breaking Dimitri's arm. Honestly, Hawk was bad for that, and that was bad, but I can see them trying to break like the legs of students and stuff. And I feel like the way they fight with Miguel Robbie Santori and the other students, like Eli Dimitri, I can see like Miguel Robbie and Hawk being like, they have to go back to their like aggressive side just to compete with some of these guys. Like I feel like they're gonna have to do that. They'll have to show no mercy, and it will bring Chosen's defense comes in many forms, full circle quote, because them being aggressive in a fight isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just the way they use it to their advantage to win the fight. In the Sakataka, they're going to need to be at their best. They cannot be flimsy and too reactive on defense. They need to go all out. They're going to all have to have that balance of attack and defense against these crazy students they come against. Yeah, I think the story is going to be interesting. Like, who knows? He might have done a small amount of jail time, but it'd probably be. Perhaps what they'll do is, if he did serve jail time, even though he knows a DA and all this stuff, as we know in the Karate Kid 3, we still don't know if he's got all those kind of contacts still. But I won't be surprised if the reason why we don't see him until mid-season is because Terry Silver was in prison. And ironically, he might be thinking about these things about Kreese and everything that's happened. Does he think he made a mistake? And was it worth it? And at the same time, I think it's going to be interesting if Kreese basically tries to slither the opportunity whilst Silver is in prison, and maybe Silver doesn't know about this behind his back, that Sensei Kim has been in touch with Kreese, or Kreese like found her before Silver was out of prison, and that would make sense why Kim and Kreese team up. And perhaps Silver is not fully aware of this, or he might be, like Silver might manipulate. Kreese might manipulate Sensei Kim to a point that Kreese is done. Silver's done basically. That's what Kreese might emphasize to Kim Dae-un. So there's so much they could do with those three. Like that trio is going to be an interesting dynamic, and I think Silver and Kreese gonna be very big ones for sure. I honestly think him and Kreese are gonna have a crazy season. Like the fight they gotta have and the tension with them. Kreese is gonna be really pissed off with him as well when he sees him. I can't wait to see that first interaction that Kreese has with Silver in season 6 because of like the tension between them and what happened. So it's definitely one of those. Um, I could see Chosen seeing Miguel as the best fighter and he'll train him 1-to-1. I don't feel like he would pick and just like be like, "Oh, you're the best student here." I think like he would guide everybody, but I definitely think that everyone will learn something from Chosen. But Chosen and Miguel having a few like scenes together would be freaking badass. What if like Chosen sort of tells Miguel a move that he could do to sort of make sure he's never like if Miguel like was ever feeling vulnerable about his back injury, like that Chosen could make sure that he never has to worry about it again with certain moves. Like the way Chosen moves as a fighter, hand to hand, especially, he's so fluid and so aware of how to like get out of a scenario with an aggressive fighter because he meets the aggression and then the defense comes in many forms. That's the analogy he uses to talk about how he differentiates with fighting against his opponent. He's just so it's so interesting. His concept of Miyagi-Do and just his concept of karate is so unique. And I think that's another reason why I think he's the best fighter here. I actually want to do a stream on Chosen season 5 versus Miyagi. I know the creators of Cobra Kai, I think they've made it clear. Miyagi is the GOAT. He is the unbeatable character. But I'm gonna just say this to you. Realistically, season 5 Chosen has a good chance against Miyagi in the Karate Kid. And they're a similar age, season 5 Chosen, Miyagi in the Karate Kid movies. I genuinely feel like Chosen season 5 would have a good chance. And I'm not sounding crazy when I say this. Like I genuinely believe that. Carl, I'm going off. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear that. I also want to do a stream on the best senseis. I might get some buddies on to talk about that because there's quite a few chats I've had in the past, and I feel like it'd be worth doing a stream. Um, yeah. See, we could get some mini fights outside of the tournament like that, or the finale. We might get some crazy scenes like that that might reminisce that with Daniel that he had when he was in Japan. I definitely think we're getting some crazy moments. And I wouldn't be surprised if some of the Kim students tried to hurt some of the Miyagi-Do students in this way, like maybe trying to break their bones or something in the tournament. That would be crazy. If one of the students broken bone or then oh my god, I think a leg would be crazy, like a leg injury. But if one of them broke a shoulder or an arm in a fight, I mean, they would get disqualified. Like, I mean, the Kim students would get disqualified very quickly for that. But I just don't see them doing it unless they, it depends. With the picture of the axe from season 6, CK, do you think they will actually have sword fights in addition to the weapons? Yes. I think that's also going to be a big theme next season is that Kreese and Silver are probably going to fight with swords. And I think they might show us that Kreese knows a lot more with the sword than even Silver, which would be interesting. Maybe they're both equally skilled at that. And I can't imagine that axe being used by one of the characters. I actually think Johnny might be using that. What the hell is going on with that car, bro? That's been going on for ages. I think someone's trying to stop it. I definitely think Johnny might use that axe for something. That'd be interesting. Interesting, Melissa. I personally feel that Silver's probably going to get released. I mean, they could be at the Sekai Sekai when that happens, because that would be interesting if they were already doing the early stages of the Sekai Sekai. Maybe whilst they're in Barcelona, Silver's out of prison. Perhaps Silver tries to go to Barcelona because he knows the Sekai Sekai is going on there. Maybe we get to see a scene of where he is after that, what his plans are, you know. And at that point, Kreese and Kim probably have teamed up. So I guess we will find out. And also, Clifford, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that, man. Um, that's a good question. I think season 5 Chosen has an edge. Sato did train him, but I think like this is a classic example of when the student becomes the master and beats the master. I think Chosen's got more of that. I think he would win. Prime Sato would be something else, though. You know. Stay tuned. Stay tuned for my video on that because I actually do have I have a theory that this could be one of the themes for next season. You know how Sam felt targeted in season 3 with Cobra Kai? I actually think this might be how Tori feels in this last season. And I think it parallels how Sam felt when the Cobra Kais wouldn't leave him alone in some way. I can honestly see them, Sensei Kim, losing the chance to win the tournament with Kreese because of this moment. She sees that Kreese isn't willing to hurt Tori or have her students hurt Tori because he cares for Tori. Like he clearly does or has cared for Tori in the past a while. I don't think he's gonna let Kim do that. Or if she does do that, Kreese is definitely gonna be like, "This is, this wasn't part of the deal. This is off. If you want to do this together, we do this my way, and you don't hurt Tori." I can see that being a deal breaker, which would be a big moment. Um, that's going to be interesting as well. I mean, Sensei Kim has 50% ownership of dojos, so that's going to be interesting. Do you know what? It would be so shocking if they tried to like break her hand again, or they just all the students that fight Tori are just aiming for her right hand so it weakens her when she gets to like the later stages. That would be kind of crazy. Um, but yeah. Oh, that would be crazy. But yeah, guys, I think that will be it for tonight. It's close to an hour. We're gonna round this off. Again, thank you for tuning in. I will be back very soon with another live. I'm gonna do these weekly, so do not worry. I'll be back with another one. I'm gonna have different ideas. I'm gonna do some polls as well to see what kind of live streams you guys want. Of course, we'll talk about Cobra Kai season 6 as much as we can until we get official news. I'm always live when they drop something very big for Cobra Kai season 6 and the Karate Kid movie. Maybe I could do a stream tomorrow if I get some time on everything regarding the new Karate Kid movie because there's been plenty about that. And also, I think we can, yeah, like I said, do some other streams on. I want to do some tier lists. I don't know if I'll do a lot of them on streams. I think like we can do them in a different way, sort of how I used to do tier lists on my Cinema Nation. Well, it was Streaming Reacts back in the day, but my Cinema Nation channel. So we can have a look there, and yeah, I will look forward to seeing your thoughts. If you want to see, different live streams on different topics, comparing characters, top fives, absolutely anything, please comment now. Don't comment on the live stream. Please comment it in the actual comment section of this video once the live stream's ended. Comment what you want to see on Cobra Kai Nation, because I want to make more of that type of content for you guys, because I love doing live streams, but doing different forms makes it not just fun for me and more interesting, but it really benefits you guys. And I know you'd probably want to see more variety of content, because who doesn't? So I appreciate it, guys. I hope you all have a great weekend. Thank you for tuning in as always. Don't forget to follow me on my Instagram at Cobra Kai Nation YT. Subscribe to Cobra Kai Nation if you're new. Hit the notification bell so you do not miss any videos on the channel. I always emphasize this. We're already nearly halfway there of 61K. That is crazy, guys. You guys have been so supportive. Thank you so much. Thank you to everybody that's been watching this on Twitter, because this has been live on Twitter as well. Thank you all so much for your love and support as always. I'll see you in the next one, and have a great weekend. Take care. And I have one thing to say.
Did you like having your arm broken, Dimitri?